What is going on, you guys? It is Zinc Zeta back with another video, and this is gonna be a little bit different. I wanted to give my genuine opinion on Octopath Traveler. I have about 40 hours in the game at the moment, and I think I am able to give my opinion on what I've seen so far. I haven't played 100 hours. I wanted to, but here's the issue. I've kind of become uninspired to play the game because of a few glaring problems with the game, and we'll get to that later. I'm going to talk about the good of the game first. So one thing I can definitely say for sure that's good about this game is the soundtrack. In boss fights, it's very intense, and it can be kind of upbeat in some areas, so you can really get into the boss fight. It's very important so you have a very intense boss theme, so you don't feel, well, bored while you're fighting a boss. In the grassy fields, there's a very calm melody, kind of reminding me of Breath of the Wild a little bit. When you're walking around, you just hear a little tiny, like, just really calm, mellow piano music. It's kind of what you'll get here. Each area seems to have a different song kind of representing it, so you might be in a grassy field, and it'll kind of sound a little more exploration-ish. I don't think that's a word, but it'll sound a little more like you're exploring, or you might be in a snowy biome, and you'll kind of feel a little more graceful, if that makes any sense. A little more fantasy type, with a kind of bells and stuff, and you walk into a giant cathedral, and there is this like beautiful like choir singing. The music's definitely on point. That is, I'd definitely give the music a solid 8 out of 10. The only reason why it's not any higher than that is because the boss themes, they're good and they get the job done, but they're nothing outstanding. Like Xenoblade 2, those were outstanding boss themes, at least in my opinion. Persona 5, outstanding boss themes. The boss themes they get the job done. And boss theme 1 and 2 kind of repeat itself quite a bit, and that's definitely an issue. But yeah, a solid 8 out of 10 for the music. Next, I want to talk about gameplay. So, gameplay in a JRPG is a very main point. It's something that you need to get right because you're going to be spending hundreds and hundreds of hours using the mechanics that the game has. So, gameplay-wise, it has an interesting choice. It has random encounters, meaning when you walk around, it's just like a Pokemon where you'll randomly get into this encounter, and you'll have to fight. You'll be forced to fight an enemy every like, I don't know, 20 steps. And you have an option to run, but if you run, your random encounter rate will go up, and you'll be more easily detected. So it's interesting, the gameplay. So once you actually get into a battle, the 8 characters have classes, which Ophelia is a cleric, Cyrus is a scholar, a magical kind of mage, Elfin is an axe user, I suppose. I'm gonna be honest, I really don't know much about Elfin. I'm gonna be honest, he's the one character I couldn't care less about, and I don't understand why. It's because I'm already keeping track on a bunch of other stories. If you guys liked Elfin Story, I'm sorry. Yeah. Primrose is a dancer that has dark element damage. She can also buff your teammates with her abilities. Teresa is a merchant that can donate BP, and we'll get into that in a little bit. She can also steal from the enemies in battle. Theron is a thief that can steal items that are used for side quests, or he can also steal. Sorry, I'm saying so much. I'm trying to think. This is all at the top of my head. He can he's another character I haven't used too much, honestly. I didn't complete his chapter 2, but I got complete his chapter 1. I'm going through chapter 2 on a few other characters. But he's a thief and he can steal things. Ulbrich is a powerhouse that can one-shot things if you build correctly. He's completely overpowered. You can, if you donate burst points from Teresa to Ulbrich, and then let's say Ulbrich is able to stack the burst points and then hit the enemy, it'll do like 3,000 damage. It's insane. Hanet is a hunter that can summon beasts from her, summon beasts on the fly, and she can actually capture beasts. Kind of like Persona 5 with its personas, how you can capture personas and then use them. It's kind of like that. That's what it mostly reminded me of. That's all the characters that you can actually go through and how they tie into gameplay. Usually levels will end up going, you get a little bit of story on the character, and then you end up going through this fields or wherever. You end up going through all these areas, and you have random encounters, so you're probably gonna get like 20 battles before the boss. And in the boss fight, he has like special abilities, and every single time, well, not every single time, but most of the time, he'll actually boost up his defense, which defense meters, you actually have to use a certain type of element or weapon to actually break the enemy's defense barrier. And when you break the enemy's defense, he'll actually lose his turn, which is a very important thing you're going to want to do. So, gameplay-wise, it's pretty nice. It definitely is unique, and it stands out from most other JRPGs. The issue I have is random encounters are the stupidest thing ever. Video Game Donkey did a good video on it, kind of how I thought about random encounters. I hate it. That's the only reason why I can't get into Pokemon. Random encounters just really annoy me. I think Persona 5 did it very nicely, because you would go through these halls, sure, but it's mostly a stealth game. You have to be really stealthy. You can't just get a random encounters from walking. And it's really stupid going back through quests, and then you have to go through side quests, and, well, you don't have to, but you want to go through side quests to get some extra money, and then just random encounter, and it's just really frustrating. And then you don't know where to go. You get lost sometimes in some areas. I remember there was a giant canyon that I got lost in, and I just kept getting random encounters. It was just really frustrating. That could also just be a thing of, me being bad and not able to keep track of where I am, but I don't know. I think they could have dumbed down on the random encounters. It's pretty insane. Possibly later in the game, you get an item that reduces random encounters. There actually is an item that reduces random encounters, but it reduces it to like maybe 30 steps instead of 20. But maybe like there's a way to reduce it later on. But so far, I haven't found anything, and it's probably one of the most annoying parts of my part of the game for me. So, gameplay-wise, it's kind of hard to rate it. Random encounters really does put it down a lot. I'd give gameplay a 7 out of 10. I don't think it's quite up there at the 8 range, just because of those random encounters. I would have given it the same 8 out of 8, because the gameplay is pretty solid, but it gets a little bit repetitive, and they don't keep it fresh enough, I guess you could say. Once you get all the skills, that's pretty much it. Unless you get a secondary job, which jobs are your skill trees, basically. You can get a secondary skill tree, and you can actually use that to mimic one of the 8 characters' spells. So let's say that you have Ophelia, and Ophelia can also have a dancer subclass, or subclass, subjob, a secondary class. So she can be a dancer, and she can also be a healer. Ulbrich can be a powerhouse, or he can also be a cleric. So you can have 2 clerics on your team. It's a very unique ability, a very unique thing. You get it about after Chapter 1. You can go ahead and go to these shrines and go and find them. Pretty interesting. Actually, very interesting. That's something that keeps the gameplay up. But definitely a solid 7 out of 10 for gameplay. Now, here's my biggest issue with Octopath Traveler, and this is the reason why I just can't play it consistently, I guess you could say. I can't play it 30 hours straight. I was playing Xenoblade 2, and I was able to play that game for 10 hours, 20 hours straight. I was addicted to that game at launch, and I thought it would have been the same here, but it's just not. It's painfully average, the storytelling. And I'm not sure if it gets any better, but after 40 hours in the game, the stories are written like by 6-year-olds. It's terrible. It's really bad. Like, alright, 1 second. I'm gonna pull up Octopath Traveler case again and look at all these characters. Alright, so Ophelia. Ophelia's story is you have to go light the 4 sacred flames to kindle the fire. Kind of sounds like Dark Souls. Cyrus' story is about finding a missing tome, so he has to go on an adventure. Elfin Story was sort of interesting, but it was the last one that I did, so that's probably why it kind of rubbed me wrong. Elfin Story has his sibling is sick, ill, and he has to go fight the snake and get the venom to cure her. Primrose's story is sort of messed up. She is a whore to this man, and this man abuses her and kills her friend, and she has to venture out and go find the people who killed her father. So, yeah. Teresa's she's a merchant that wants to go on an adventure and find treasure. Theron's story is the worst. Okay, I'm about to go on a rant here. Oh boy. Theron's story is terrible. So, basically you're a thief, and you bust into this castle area, and this princess actually tricks you and wanted you to bust into the castle and steal these stones. Well, 1 stone. And apparently there are these power stones, and you have to go around the world and collect all 4 power stones for this princess. I am so annoyed with this story. It's the only reason why I haven't even continued Theron, because it's the stupidest thing. It's dumb, it's generic, it's blatantly ripped off from Infinity War. I'm just sick of people doing this story now. Like, Mario Tennis Aces did the exact same thing with its stupid story mode. It just annoys me. Before I get into a rant, I'm going to try to keep calm. That's terrible. That's terrible writing. Ulbrich's is actually pretty bad, too. He's a knight. His brother betrays him. He has to go find his brother. Hannett, she needs to go find her lost father. So that's the stories that you're looking at. And that's the reason why I just can't continue Octopath Traveler. Because of how generic and how poorly written some of the dialogue is. Like, I was just recently playing Chapter 2 Ulbrich, and this is, I guess, a little bit of a spoiler. He goes into an arena, and he's talking to these dudes, this opponent, and this opponent's like, I fight for love, and then he goes in and starts attacking Ulbrich, and it's just so painfully average. And then there's this one dude, and then he's just like, my father lost in the cup right before he finished, right before he's about to win the tournament, so I fight for him. And even the main characters aren't any better. Ophelia is some of the worst dialogue I've seen. It's so poorly written, and I'm sorry, because I know people like this game, and I know people love this game, and some people are calling it the best Switch game. This game has such positive reviews, and it just drives me crazy. Because I like a good story in my game. I love a good story in my game. That's why I played Persona 5. I'm actually not that much into JRPGs. I just recently got into it with Xenoblade 2. But even Xenoblade 2 had better writing than this. I mean, it's painful. And I don't know. Without a good story to motivate me, I feel like I'm just going through this consistent grind and all these random encounters for nothing. For no reason. Because the story is so bad. I could write a better story than this. It's like, I don't know what they were going for. It's like, I could go on for a while quoting dialogue, but in conclusion, Octopath Traveler's story gets a 5 out of 10, in my opinion. It's average. It's painfully average. You want more, and I don't know if you get more. I've played 40 hours. I don't think you get more. It seems like it's pretty average. I'll beat the game eventually, but it'll be an on and off experience. And once I do beat the game, I will make a follow-up video explaining if the rating has gone up for story or not. In conclusion, that leaves Octopath Traveler, in my opinion, a good game. It's a good game. It's a good Switch game. I don't want this video to rub you wrong and make you not want to buy the game now. I am a very small channel. I have no influence. I'm just a dude that's just talking to you, upright, telling you his opinion on Octopath Traveler. I am not wanting to make people not want to buy the game. I'm not telling you not to buy the game. It's a good game. It has some really good gameplay and very good soundtrack, and you can get past the painfully average writing, and maybe you like that. Maybe you like a story that's simple and you can just follow. Maybe you do. I mean, I know games that are simple. It's just not for me. And it sucks. But I will beat it eventually. And if the story does get better, please tell me in the comments, because I'm not sure. If this review was a little weird, I guess you could, would be a good word for it. It's because this is my third review I've done. I don't do many reviews. I only do video reviews for games I'm very passionate about. I've done one Breath of the Wild, Nier Automata, and now this one. And this one's definitely my most effort I've put into a review, and I'm really proud of it. So, if you guys could just comment below how you feel about Octopath Traveler, I will be talking to you guys. Thank you for watching. I love you guys. See you guys later.